That was a huge win for Erik ten Hag. Casemiro coming up with the goods for his manager. Was that Erik ten Hag's Mark Robins moment? The comparisons are going to be there, not just for the fact that it's against Forest, not just for the fact that it's in the white shirt, but when there's been speculation, circulation of rumours and reports this week around Erik ten Hag's position. And let's be honest, after the Fulham game and the complete defeat that it was in the season of a lack of progress, you can understand the questions around it. The pressure was on. It was a team which, let's be honest, man. Amrabat, I'll speak about him. Rashford, I'll speak about him. Chopping and changing. Another few changes tonight. United missing 3 golden chances in the first 15 minutes. It felt like one of those games. Anthony hitting the bar. Bruno missing a chance. United needed a goal. Where's it going to come from? Casemiro came up with the goods. Bruno put an excellent ball into the right position at the front post. No Forest player predicted it. Casemiro went for it. Got his head to it. Got a cut on his head for it. Erik ten Hag needed that win. Manchester United needed that win. With that starting 11 we put out there, with the changes that we had, with the fact that Bruno was a doubt before the game and goes on to complete 90 minutes. With the fact that Varane was a doubt before the game. With the fact that Maguire went out of the game. With the fact that we haven't got a striker. With the fact that we've got Rashford, who's definitely not a striker. There's a lot that was going against us. Form-wise, Onana was in form maybe going into the game. Yeah. Dalot maybe in form going into the game, but hardly anybody else. And it showed in how we played. But we got the victory. And that really, in my opinion, was a win-at-all-costs game, especially with the derby coming up at the weekend. And Erik ten Hag, Casemiro was his man tonight. Will it be as influential as the Mark Robins goal? Let's be honest, probably not. But can I just quickly, before I get into the full reaction on this is an utter joke. A complete joke. Philippe putting his hand completely round, thumb and forefinger locked around Bruno Fernandes's throat. VAR checks it and goes, nah, there's nothing there, mate. If that was Casemiro, he'd be put in Alcatraz. That is just a perfect embodiment of how crap the rules are and how it's not about rules. It's just about what VAR official is sat behind the screen and what team is playing and what player does it. It's not about rules. It's about whoever they want the rules to apply to. That's not what a rule is. A rule is something that is definitive, regardless of who is in breach of it. That's not how VAR works. I hate that system. It's crap. I really, really do. You know, one thing I really did love there tonight, right at the end, seeing Garnacho, seeing Mainu, seeing Bruno, in the build-up to that moment there, United frustrated them because United kept it in the corner because United had a little tiny little smidge of game management. Whether it's Wolves away or I can't remember what the other game was, where United, going into the last few minutes, especially Wolves away, when we had that corner from Bruno, instead of keeping it in the corner, we just fired it and then they hit the goal on the counter-attack. Obviously, Mainu got the winner, so it didn't matter. But that there is game management. That there is, you know, having a little bit of football IQ. Just play with the ball for 90 seconds. You've done all the hard graft. You put the shift in. That's part and parcel of football. United don't do that. United did that to the point where they had to grab the throat of Bruno because we frustrated them. But that was not a vintage performance in any way, shape or form. I like to see Onana winding the crowd up as well. Onana is a player that not really many people have been speaking about. He hasn't really put a foot wrong. Wow. Some people are going to argue that he was responsible for the Fulham goal, but I think that you really do not like Onana if you're going to put that at his feet. I think he made a few good saves tonight, good parries into good areas. I think he's been okay. I would still love to see Onana not facing 15, 16 shots a game and being more of the playmaker goalkeeper that we signed rather than the constant shot stopper. But hey, that's not happening just yet. But I think Onana's been playing pretty well. Such an important win. I have to go back to that before I speak about Rashford and Amrabat, and there's quite a few people I want to speak about. But Erik ten Hag needed that right. And we've got the derby coming up on Sunday. Haaland's just scored bloody 5 goals against Luton. De Bruyne has just got 4 assists. And that now means that we've got Forest. We've just beaten Forest. Slapped them up. Well, I say slapped them up. Slightly pushed them to the side. We got Liverpool in the quarterfinal. Can I just say here, thank God that isn't at Anfield. That would have been murder. Oh, my God. That would have been terrible. Anyway, we're playing them at Old Trafford weekend, the 16th, 17th March, my birthday weekend. It'd be nice if you get me a little birthday win there, but I'm not going to hold out too much hope. Now, we have to have a conversation about Rashford, all right? You don't need me to tell you All right? Spoiler alert. Marcus Rashford is not a striker. He does not like playing it in the number 9 position because what happened there today, game lines up. He's making a couple of decent runs, and as soon as a couple of those runs get ignored, gets a little bit huffy. Shoulders drop, hands out, give me the ball. And he can be frustrated for the fact that he hasn't been given that ball. But it's part and parcel of playing that position, Marcus. You have to make run after run after run that is not rewarded, that is not spotted. But when it is, boom, you're through. That's just, as a number 9, you have to be able to be out of the game for 85% of it and not be frustrated, not drop deep, not drop to the left wing, not drop to the right wing. Just stay in your position. Alan Shearer was really going after him, and I can understand it. Rashford is not a number 9. He never will be a number 9. And it's just annoying me now, Erik. Please just stop playing him there. Play him on the left wing. Play McTominay there. McTominay is somebody from a positional perspective. He's always in the right positions in the middle. Really, I mean, McTominay should have scored from that cross from Dalot. Dalot's crossing, by the way, really improved this season. Really, really improved. He should have scored. Anthony should have scored. Should have been clear. But we had like 4 to 5 golden opportunities before we actually did score. But stop playing Rashford through the middle. It's really painful. I'll tell you what. Now, I don't really speak about Anthony that much. Amrabat kind of looked like he was running through treacle when he was playing left back. But I have to admit, in the second half, I thought he looked better. When he got the ball in the central areas quite a lot, he was turning, progressing. He was bringing the ball forward. One thing I was really looking forward to seeing with Amrabat was his pings across the pitch, the switches of play, something that he did so well before. And I thought that was a big element that was going to come and be such an important part of his game. I thought he played better in the second half. First half, you can't have him at left back against City. You can't have Lindelof at left back against City. I don't know what the answer is to left back against City, but I don't think it's Amrabat, and I know it's not Lindelof. Is it Kambwala? I mean, whatever you're looking at left back at City, you are looking at makeshift. You're probably going to look at Dalot left back and somehow figuring something out for the right back position. Maybe Kambwala could play there. Don't know, but Amrabat was better in the second half than he was in the first half. As I said, Dalot, Casemiro was man of the match. I can understand that because of the goal. I thought Dalot was pretty impressive most of the game. There was a couple of times where he didn't hold his line defensively for the offside trap. But I think they said in the game, he started 34 out of 36 games this season, the most of any outfield player. He's been one of the more dependable players. He's still not being magnificent, but he's certainly, in my opinion, improved on the right back that we saw last season. I think so anyway. You can let me know what you think in the comments. You know, Garnacho started 23 games in a row. That is some progression from breaking through into the first team to being in every single starting 11. I don't think he had his best performance there tonight, but when you don't have a proper overlapping left back, you just get doubled up on all the time. Hence why he was cutting inside so often. And he struggled to find space because of it. And they were able, as I said, to double up on him. But Liverpool in the quarterfinal, what a big old game that is. We've got City coming up in the derby on Sunday. And that moment there was so needed and so necessary. It was a scrappy game, but let's be honest, when you're playing Amrabat at left back, Lindelof at centre back, you're playing McTominay as a deeper central midfielder, you're playing Rashford up front, you're not going to be a coherent team, right? You're not going to play fluid football. Through the middle, there was hardly any central progression in that first half. It got better in the second half, but they squeezed the spaces and we didn't really have much going on the outside. We needed a set piece. We needed a moment of quality. And that's what set pieces can do. And it's what frustrates me so much. You know how far football's progressed over the last however many years? It's developed and the game's completely changed. A corner is still a corner. A set piece is still a set piece. And they're exactly as they were all those years ago. They're basic. And if you can make the most of it, they can deliver moments like that where you haven't got the craft in open play, but that moment can change it. And Erik ten Hag needed that. I'll tell you what, there was some decent patterns of play there tonight, but that's only in comparison to how abysmal we were against Fulham. Far more is needed. We still need to be defensively better on the transition against City. They are going to rip us to shreds. I'm not looking forward to it. I don't know how we go to the Etihad and get a result. But I didn't think we were going to get a result away at Anfield. Would I take a draw at City? Yep. You're damn right I would. Casemiro, was that the Mark Robbins moment? Well, I suppose we'll see in the goodness of time. But it just, in the isolated moment that is now, we needed that. Ten Hag needed that. And Casemiro came up with the goods when we needed them to. Onwards and upwards.